So remember, this is chiropractic freedom, and this is the blueprint to an annual $1 million passive income while working part-time. And why is it that I can say that? That's exactly what I did. My net worth, my annual income went over $1 million when I was 33. 33, okay? And it just kept going up from there. And these are the systems. These are the very specific systems. I paid a lot of attention to these systems, and I did not deviate. So, and what it does is, it's three major steps: is to have a highly profitable practice, number one, creates a freedom lifestyle, which is fantastic, and then the 9 wealth strategies. So it creates wealth and creates a lot of security, freedom. And, I think I worked more and harder when I didn't have to work, just because I didn't have to work. It was freedom, and I enjoyed doing what I wanted to do. So I really went hard at it. That's the key to success in anything is following your passion. But so many chiropractors get burnt out on chiropractic because they're forced to work every day. And that kind of burns you out. It burned me out. My first 2 years in practice, I worked 6 days a week on Saturday also. And I loved chiropractic, but I tell you what, I was burnt out. Within 2 years, I was burnt out until I stopped working Saturdays, and my income increased 16% by not working. And I solely attribute that to the energy level, the focus and the energy. And that's what happens when you start working part-time. Your energy level comes up. So when you're there, your productivity skyrockets. So it's the chiropractic freedom results. So it's the annual 7-figure profitable practice in 3 years while working part-time or not working. And it's using only 3 systems. And we're going to go into right now how easy this is. This is not difficult. But like anything, it's difficult if you can't see it. Okay? So that's why I'm constantly trying to simplify things that, worked real well for me, because the simpler we can do it, the easier it is to see that it's attainable. Now, you must learn how to leverage time and money. That's the big deal. I'm all about leveraging time and money. If you don't know how to leverage and you never learn how to leverage time or money, you're going to be very limited in your income, and you'll probably never be wealthy. You'll have less than a 30% chance of getting wealthy or having over $1 million in assets. So it's a big deal. Learning how to maximize your time for money, number one, most people don't know how to do. There's only 9% of small businesses that make a 6-figure income. Just because you're an owner operator, that doesn't mean you make a 6-figure income. Only 9% of owner operated small businesses, the definition is under 50 employees, make a 6-figure income profit. Okay, that's not a lot. So most people don't know how to maximize their profitability. And then they typically don't know how to leverage their time and money, because you have to know how to maximize your profitability to be able to leverage your time and money. These principles are all intertwined. The more you learn them, the more you find out that they're not individual. And then each quarter, and I say this all the time, each quarter to put in place one system that is going to increase your income, specifically your passive income, or in that quarter, you've created another source of passive income. That's the 2 things you always look for. Because if you always do one of those 2 things every quarter, your income, profitability, and wealth will always increase. When you go through a quarter, you go through 3 months, and you just processed business, you just treated patients, and you didn't do anything, you didn't put any steps in place, a system. Now remember, it has to be a system or it always falls on its butt, always goes backwards. If you didn't put a place in, you're not going to grow. And if you didn't leverage off time or money, see? So if you're just processing business, that's a bad situation. And if you don't see it that way, you won't think anything about it. You'll do it again the next quarter. Then you'll do it again the next quarter. Next thing you know, you're 20 years later and you don't have anything because you worked your butt off. And there's too many doctors, that join with me that's their situation. Been in practice 5, 10, 20 years, and they don't have wealth. They got a good income. They got a good lifestyle. They got a good house. They got a big car. But they got to go to work. They don't have, their passive income does not exceed their fixed expenses. And that's the key. Remember, it's not the amount of money you have. Is your passive income exceeding your fixed expenses? That's a whole nother story. Okay. And so, of course, we do that. Number one, we want a highly profitable practice. We go through all the systems with that. We talk about how to hire, train, and maintain associate doctors. And then, of course, real estate is the leverage to wealth. So having said that, let's go into these other big categories here. So remember the Chiropractic Freedom 9 Wealth strategies. I mean, this is the game plan right here. Number one, purchase a home. Why? Wealth is due to lack of discipline from 5 out of the 6 economic categories. It's not from income. It's lack of discipline. Purchase home. Number one, it forces you to create equity. Number two, purchase your office building. You guys that are paying rent month after month, year after year, that's a huge mistake. You're going to lose out easily on $500,000, within a 10, 20 year career. Easy. I mean, and you're already paying it. It's not like you have to have discipline. You have to have, that's forced discipline. You got to cut the check anyway. I mean, you got to go into your own office. And then, maximizing office productivity. That's a big one. Most chiropractors never maximize their productivity and they lose a ton of money. It's like, hotel going through the night with renting out only half the homes, or an airplane taking off and only half the seats. Well, chiropractors go in their office every day, every week, and see 80 visits a week, or 100, 120 visits a week. And they easily could have seen 180, or, they could have maximized their 200 and maximized their exchange of time for money. Well, that money adds up, 50 visits a week at a $50 per visit, it's $2,500 a week times 52 weeks, 2 times 5 is 10, that's over 100. You're at $130,000 to $150,000. And remember, 97% of that's profit. Profit. That's some serious cash. You take $150,000. That's $1.5 million in real estate you can buy easy. And you don't even have to be smart. You can put a third down and it still triples your net worth. It still triples it. So instead of 150, you'd have 450,000. That's if you don't even know how to do real estate, but you just, bought real estate. And it's unbelievably easy buying real estate when you put a third down. So if you have 150 times 3, 4, that's $450,000. Well, go ahead and do that for 10 years. That's $4.5 million. This stuff adds up, man. Adds up fast. So, and of course, that's what this is about. That's what this whole consulting is about, is to have focus and follow the path. So that's the office profit. Maximize your retirement account because it's 100% tax deductible. And remember that retirement account, you can buy real estate in. You can have real estate in your retirement account that's 100% tax free. That's investing on steroids. And then, of course, the associate doctors, that creates a whole nother lifestyle. That's a whole nother lifestyle when you know how to hire, manage, and train associate doctors. Whole nother life. I've got, 2 doctors that are coming to the vacation, the chiropractic adventure coming up here to the national parks. And the only reason they can is they have associate doctors. That's why they can take off the week and come out and go and visit all 5 national parks in 1 week. See? So it's lifestyle again. So they're making money while they're on vacation. Lifestyle. That's what this is about. It's not working your fingers to the bone week after week. Invest in quality real estate, and that's just unbelievably easy. It's unbelievably easy. I mean, if you have a little bit of a disposable income, it's pretty easy to pick up quality, cash flowing quality real estate, even owner financed. It's easy. And of course, the more you put down, the easier it gets. If you don't want to put anything down, well, yeah, you have to have a lot higher skill level to be able to do that. And then learn the tax-free lifestyle. And that's where, that's your personal expenses. Most people aren't aware that they can, if they just modified very few things, they would be able to deduct their personal expenses. A classic example is this, the national parks trip that we're getting ready to take. It's 100% tax deductible. So here it is, a family vacation, the whole trip for the doctor's tax deductible. He's making money because he's got associate doctors in his office. So he's got passive income while he's not working. The expenses he's paying for the trip is 100% tax deductible. And his wife and kids are tax deductible for the trip because he learned how to do it. We taught him how to do it legally. What did he need to do legally to make his wife and kids tax deductible for trips, for vacations? Well, that's what's happening with these two doctors that are coming. Learn asset protection. Okay, talk about as if you build all that money, we're going to go into the basics of protecting it, and then the charitable foundation does a lot of things. First, it's good for your self-worth. You got to give more than you take. That's just a life principle. Number two is it helps with taxes. You can deduct more with the foundation, and we help use it to promote your business. I mean, so there's three major ways that your charitable foundation significantly helps you. Okay, so those are the 9 wealth strategies, and then that's the key right there.